Success Insight shares the stories of the people with passion and drive who make things happen in the world. Here's your host, Howard Fox.
Welcome, everybody, to the Success Insight podcast. For my co-host, this is Howard Fox, and I want to welcome you on this beautiful first week after the July 4th weekend. And I'm very excited to introduce you to a young lady that I met actually via one of my close friends and fellow coaches here in the Chicago area. We were talking about what it takes to run a business, and for us solo entrepreneurs out there, it sometimes can be a little bit of a challenge because there's only so many hours in the day and there's only so many limbs we have that we can type and answer the phone. And we started to talk a little bit about the world of the virtual assistant. And my good friend Amanda, she was chatting about she and her husband who run their entrepreneurial practice in financial services. Were talking to me about their move to Ohio and how they will most likely be in the need of a virtual assistant out there. And Amanda said, you really got to talk to this woman. She really does some amazing things. And so, hey, who am I to bypass a great opportunity to have a conversation? So I would love to introduce to you to Victoria Murray. She's the owner of InBox Virtual Assistants. Victoria, welcome to the Success Insight podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Amanda just had glowing things to say about you, and I think you probably know each other somewhat virtually at this point. You're probably not really doing any work just yet, but the virtual assistant world it's not unfamiliar to me, but I know there's a lot to it. So I would love to hear a little bit about your story. Tell our audience what you're doing.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me to come on. I did meet Amanda virtually. It was love at first soundbite. She called me, we chatted, and now I feel like we've known each other forever. I am a virtual assistant. I call myself Act 2. I'm in the second act of my life. I worked in the health insurance industry for over 20 years, and the opportunity came for me to separate from the company. And when the door opened, I grabbed my box and I ran, and I have not looked back. I knew that I was too young to totally retire, and I needed to do something because, well, I have bad habits. I like to shop, I like to travel, and I like also to make money. So I had to think of what can I do, because I do not want to go back to corporate America. I had been released. I was free. I was not going back to a cube farm. I just couldn't do it.
What did you do in the cube farm? Just a little bit of a tangent there. What were you doing?
I helped with the health insurance part of the company.
Okay.
So we sold benefits to small businesses around the Central Ohio area. So I would go out, I would do enrollment meetings, I would explain the benefits to the coworkers. If the coworkers had a problem with a claim, I was the first call for help if their HR could not help them. And nobody ever calls their insurance agent and says, "Hi, how you doing?"
So they call you when they need something.
They call you when they need something, and it's normally bad.
Yeah. So you were working with the small business owners, and then, okay, so you got the opportunity. You packed your box. You said goodbye, and you said, what did you do next?
Honestly, I turned to God in prayer. I was like, Lord, I don't want to go back to corporate America. I need you to show me what to do.
Okay.
And I heard him say, as clear as I'm talking to you, use your hands.
Okay.
And I'm one to put words in God's mouth. So I was like, Lord, if this is truly you and not me, I need more signs. And they came that next Sunday. My pastor preached a sermon that he pretty much said, everybody else can go home. This is between me and Vicki. And everything just fell right in place. Therefore, I got the name, I put up a LinkedIn page, I got my first client within a week, and I've been on a roll ever since.
Well, who am I to question God's will? But I'm curious, how did this inkling about the virtual assistant world, or this turn to that space. Is that something that had been maybe on your mind? You had contemplated it. You came across people. How exactly did that happen?
I knew I wanted to use the skills I had, and I knew I had strong admin skills.
Okay.
And so if you go to Google and you Google anything, you're going to find an answer.
Right.
And I ran across a couple of VA websites, and I'm like, I can do this.
Okay. So you got this inkling, this
Divine revelation.
divine revelation, and you went out there and you put up a shingle. How did you? What types of services were you offering and marketing yourself to be able to do for the business owner?
When I first started, I was going for low-hanging fruit.
Okay. What are those?
Yes. Anybody that needed anything done.
Okay.
I would go to networking events. I would speak to other small business owners. I would listen. And if I would hear a pain point, I would find the solution. You know, you can do this. You know, I can do this. You know, together we can do this. And I was able to solve the small pain points. And from there, I discovered different things I enjoyed doing, certain things I didn't enjoy quite so much. So I just started going after the things that I enjoyed and did well. Because if you enjoy it, it's not really work.
So I firmly believe that. And, we were just talking about that this morning. People used to be in careers 30, 40 years. They were miserable, but they knew at the end of that career, there was a pension or something that would keep them going. And it doesn't work that way anymore. So whatever we do in the moment, we should be enjoying it. So what were the pieces, the components of this future self and that you really enjoyed the work you enjoyed doing?
The part that I enjoy now?
Yeah, well, you said earlier that you had, very quickly found, here's things I like to do, here's things I don't like to do, and I want to focus on the things I like to do. And fair enough. I think that's great. What were some of those things?
Anything that I can do without having a lot of contact. Example, I have some clients and all they basically do is they send me their receipts. As they're out and about living life and they have a work expense, they send me the receipt. At the end of the year, or once a month, once a quarter, at the end of the year, I send them a spreadsheet.
So you're
just reconcile. I don't even reconcile. All I do is document.
Document. Okay. And what else in addition to that?
Oh, I have a few clients that I do ghostwriting for because I do enjoy writing. Mm-hmm. So they will give me some topics, some pointers they want me to hit. I'll go do the research and I'll ghostwrite their blogs for them.
Okay.
So that I do. Social media marketing. I enjoy creating memes, getting that social media interaction going. I enjoy keeping like the LinkedIn going. I also have some clients I do cold contacts or I'll do research. I have one client who's a speaker and she's looking for a certain type of an opportunity to speak. So I go online, I try to find her target market, I find out where they hang out, and then I get her in front of them.
That's very interesting. Actually, two things are interesting. That of helping your clients get in front of their, what I call ideal clients, but you also mentioned about the writing, like enjoying writing. I was just finishing up a book this past weekend on copywriting, and I think as entrepreneurs, one of the things we struggle with is the quality of our writing. Some of us are very good writers. Maybe we wrote a novel or a book or a dissertation, a thesis, but when it comes to marketing or writing copy to sell a product or a service, that's a whole different ball game. Mm-hmm. So how did you did you get any training there, or is this just a gift of helping people with the copywriting on this marketing activity? Because that's important in the entrepreneurial space.
It is a gift that I honed with training. I've always enjoyed writing. Before we had blogs, I loved journaling. And so I found a few online courses that would help me tighten up my gift per se, so that I would be able to use it to help entrepreneurs, help them find the persona of their target market, so that when I'm writing to that persona, which will help them attract the people they're trying to attract.
Now, if a business owner or entrepreneur wanted to take one of these courses, is there anybody's body of work that most resonated for you that you would recommend, in addition to hiring you, by the way?
I was like, no, hire me and I'll do it for you. There, a virtual assistant that I met in Tel Aviv virtually, she sent me to a platform called Udemy, Udemy.
Oh, sure. Yes. Udemy.
And I just go and I read the reviews. And if someone has a lot of high reviews, then I'll sign up and take that course.
That's actually wonderful. I have Udemy. I mean, their courses, they're running sales all the time. It's $10, $20 a course. I mean, they're listed at $49, $59, etc. But so you actually got some good
yes.
material out of that.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, we'll have to check that out, because I'm in the need for some copywriting right now for my own work. So we'll have to talk about that as well.
Okay.
So doing the writing, and then helping them do some of the calling, the getting them and the client in front of their ideal client. What are some of the techniques you use that you have honed while doing that?
I am a fan of Google. I don't know how I lived all these years without Google. I don't know how we made it without the internet. I like to use Google Alerts, and I will put little buzzwords out. Like, one of my clients likes to get in front of mothers. Well, most mothers I know go to beauty shops. So I go the beauty shop route. I go the hair and nail salon route. Anytime I can get in front of a salon owner, I know that I can get my client in front of a lot of women. So the internet, the Google alerts are my friend.
That's excellent. Can you share a couple examples? Keep the anonymity in place, but can you share a couple of examples of how this work kind of helped your client, and whether it was to sign them up as their client or to get them in front of an audience? Any examples?
Absolutely, I can. There's an organization in Ohio that has chapters all over the United States, and it's an organization of professional business women. And professional business women are also mothers who have children. They have a national conference every year in Florida. So I kind of stalked their page. The first time I saw the call for speakers posted, I got on the phone, I called my client. They have a call for speakers. I've looked back over the previous speakers. They've never had anyone do what you do. Her speaker sheet was already prepared. We got everything together. We came at it at an angle that would benefit them. This is how we can benefit your organization. We can bring your members something that they've never heard before that's going to enhance their lives. This organization bought it. She was booked. They paid her room. They paid her hotel. So she was, her transportation, she was in.
That's fantastic.
An angle that they had never heard of before.
Okay. Fantastic. What are another story you'd like to share?
I also like to connect my clients to get their name out. So I do listen to podcasts. If I hear a podcast that's kind of like sounds familiar or sound like their audience would be someone that one of my clients would like to attract, then I will put those two together. And I've had a couple of clients that have been able to do radio interviews and podcast interviews just to get their name out in new markets.
Excellent. Is there you early on in our conversation, you talked about some of the things you like to do, the memes, and I call those social quotes on Success Insight podcast. Do you have, what does your ideal client look like? I mean, do they look like me, a 50-something male, or are they millennials, females? What do they look like? Typically? Human. That's good. They breathe.
I prefer humans.
Okay.
I really don't target a certain age group or a certain gender. I like speakers, authors, and coaches.
Speakers, authors, and coaches.
Although I will serve anyone who has a need, I like to say you should do what only you can do and outsource the rest. So if that means your bookkeeping, if that means your cold calling, if that means getting your promotional material together, if that means ordering your merchandise, your promotional merchandise and getting it to the event before you arrive, you should have someone else do that, and you need to focus on what only you can do.
Excellent. I noticed right above behind you, there's a calendar there.
Yes.
And so I'm curious, besides the calendar, which everybody should have an effective method or process for using that calendar, but what are the tools that you, besides Google, that you most use to help you succeed in serving your clients? Is there anything in particular?
Well, my calendar serves as my visual. So when I walk into my office every day, I can see, I write in bold letters, 3 things I have to get done that day. No reason why these 3 things are not going to get done. My go-to tool for success, I would have 2 that I live with. I don't know how I live without them. One is Trello.
Yes.
Because Trello allows me to interact with my clients, and I'm a night person. 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I can be up working. My client is asleep. I can't call, but I can leave a note in Trello, and we can follow the conversation without it getting lost in someone's inbox.
Excellent.
So I love Trello. My second thing that I love, and I'm not getting paid by these organizations, by the way, is Dubsado. I don't know if you're familiar with Dubsado.
That's a new one.
Dubsado is a newer platform. I got on when they had very little functionality, and every week they roll out something new, and I love it. What I love about Dubsado is that it rolls a lot of functions into one, whereas before I had FreshBooks to collect my invoices. I had DocuSign to sign my contracts. I had Calendly for my calendar. Now I can do all these things through Dubsado.
How do you spell that? Or can you, off the top?
D-U-B.
D-U-B.
S-A-D-O.
S-A-D-O. So we'll put links to Dubsado, to Trello on the notes from today's podcast, so everybody who is listening can go check it out. Trello, I know one of my colleagues uses a tool called Pipedrive. It's in addition to Trello. So you've got the cards, and then it's more of, I think, the CRM tool.
The CRM tool. Mm-hmm.
But I think tools like that are phenomenal, but you have to use them. You can't just, a lot of them, you get the 30-day, 14-day trial, and then life takes on. Yeah.
Go ahead and pay for the paid product.
Yeah.
Learn how to use it. Use all the functionality. And I'm glad you mentioned CRM, because I do offer CRM management, and I can build sales funnels.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So you're a gift to the entrepreneur and the business coach, and because I have a client right now who has a workshop coming up in a couple of months. We're just finishing up their LinkedIn profile, so I help rewrite that for them, but then teaching them how to find their ideal clients on LinkedIn and then get them interested to want to attend. So
I love LinkedIn.
Yeah. Oh, LinkedIn is, life. So I love it. Well, let me ask you a question. So you've been doing this for how many years now?
4 years.
4 years. And looking back to the Victoria Murray 4 years ago to who's sitting chatting with me today, what's changed in your life?
I'm a different person.
Yeah.
When you leave I don't want to say plantation, but the cube farm, where you are not going to get that same amount of money every 2 weeks, it makes you learn to do things like open your mouth and speak and let people know who you are and what you're capable of. So 4 years ago, when I went to a networking event, I would take my business cards and I would just stand there and wait for someone to come speak to me. Now I look to see the boldest, brightest face in the room, and I'm going straight there. And I'm going to stay near you, because as people flock to you, there's going to be overflow, and I'm going to be there to catch it.
That is wonderful. So I have to ask this question. Have you ever taken a personality assessment like the DISC or the Myers-Briggs True Colors?
I have, years ago, through my employer. And in all honesty, I really didn't pay attention to it because it was through my employer, and I knew that my manager was just going to get brownie points from her manager. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to play this game for you and go on. But I would love to do one with the new Vicky. I really would.
Well, I'll tell you what, we should talk about afterwards. We'll set you up with the everything DISC, because what you're sharing just now is an issue with individuals who have lost their jobs. Mm-hmm. And in the old days, this was 10 years ago, maybe even sooner, people lost their jobs and they'd call somebody up and say, hey, I'm looking for a job, and they'd get a job. In this day and age, that doesn't happen anymore. And the ability to network, whether it's virtually on LinkedIn or in person going to networking events, is critical. And so personality, which is kind of what's driving me to mentioning this, is some of us are really good at it. Some of us are very at ease, being the center of attention or gravitating to the person who's the center of attention. Some people, as you shared, are sitting in the back of the room with a stack of business cards in their hand, and when they leave, they got the same stack. Mm-hmm. And somehow you've made this shift that said, I gotta move, because if I don't move, it's not going to be good for business. And so, I applaud that, because I think I would love more folks that were in transition learning how to effectively network, because different personalities, I have different challenges when it comes to it. But we'll set you up with an everything DISC assessment afterwards, and we'll take a look and see what your personality is. Now I'm trying to think, what it could be, but I'm not going to take any guesses right now. That would be bad form, and I could be wrong, and I don't like to be wrong. Let me I ask one couple final questions before we sign off. And I know you mentioned you have a gift for the folks that are listening to the podcast. Also want to get the best way for our audience to contact you if they have a need for VA services. Where do you see yourself going or being in, whether it's a year from now, 5 years from now? It's that old, corporate, what's your 5-year goal, what's your 10-year goal? But do you have an idea of, where is Victoria Murray going to be in 5 years, 10 years?
I know exactly where I'm going to be in 5 years. I'm going to sit in a beach somewhere with a drink in my hand. No, my goal.
That's mine, by the way. The beauty of what you do, Victoria, the beauty of a lot of what I do, not everything, is we can do it anywhere in the world.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
I have been in Paris, France, and working for my clients for an hour or two. And when I got done, I was out touring the city.
I'm like envious of you, because I want to be on the beach. I want my adult beverage. I don't drink that much anymore because I'm on a keto diet, but I'll have my iced tea. But, just the idea of doing it from an outdoor cafe and, the Greek Isles. But I get that.
It's a wonderful thing. But back to your original question, I want to say that I was blessed to be a blessing. And I have learned the ability to get out, to speak, to network, to reach out to people who are in need. My dream for my business is to be able to bring in business and then hire contractors, parents who need a part-time job but don't have childcare, something that they can do in the evening after their children are home or in the bed or quiet for the evening. So that is my goal, to build this business up where I'm able to, I don't want to say employ employees because they're going to be contractors.
Mm-hmm.
But to be able to enable those who need the extra income but don't have the ability to leave their homes in the evening, the ability to earn that extra income by using their skills that they already have or teaching them.
Most definitely. And, you probably have heard the term side hustle.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's what my LinkedIn work originally used to be, was a side hustle.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became a significant part of the work that I do. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's wonderful. And it's not only giving back, it's making a difference in people's lives and giving them an opportunity to, you can do more, you can stay home, take care of your kids, and make some decent money at the same
Extra
time.
money, exactly. Especially for I was a single parent, and for single parents, it's difficult to work a 40-hour-a-week job. And if you don't have enough coming in, you need that part-time job. But if you have to pay childcare, that negates that money, so you're
Mhm.
not really ahead.
I definitely. I mean, there's some other stories that we could go into, but even folks that are on disability, or
Mm-hmm.
there are still things that they can do that
Mm-hmm.
from the comfort of their home. I mean, there is a downside to working from home. You have to remember to walk up,
Socialization.
yeah, and get out the door. Luckily, there's this great bakery, coffee shop, 1 block away, and I'll just text it right after our call here. Podcast, I want to go over there and have a cup of tea and just relax and just do some reading and some prep work. But I think we've got to remember to get up. And speaking of that, what is one piece of advice that you would give, whether it's someone like you or has a vision for doing what you do, or maybe it's a vision for the entrepreneur, somebody like, another coach, could be somebody like me. What would be a piece of advice you would give them or me about running my business, or doing
About
what you do?
getting started, I would say don't let the start stop you.
Don't let the start stop me.
So many people want to do something. They have an idea. They see a need. My bishop always says, find a need and fill it, and you'll never go hungry. So many people see a need, know they have the ability, but there's that fear factor of getting up and actually putting pen to paper and walking it out.
Fantastic.
So don't let the start stop you. If you see the need, you have the ability, do what you need to do to make it happen.
Excellent. I think that's a perfect note to kind of wind down today's Success Inside podcast. And, we've been speaking to Victoria Murray. She's the owner of InBox Virtual Assistants. Victoria, what is the best way for folks to learn more about you and your work?
I have I have a website, www.inboxva.com. That's the best way. I'm also on Facebook, InBox VA. I'm also on LinkedIn, Victoria F. Murray. I'm on Instagram, InBox VA. I'm on Twitter, InBox VA.
I love the consistency, by the way, because your brand, that's InBox VA is your brand,
Mm-hmm.
and you're consistent about it. So I applaud you for that one.
So you can find me anywhere. You can send me an email. My email address is sales, SALES, at inboxva.com.
Excellent.
And I'm always available.
Perfect. Now, you mentioned when we got started today that you had a gift for the folks that will be listening to the podcast. I would love for you to share it.
Yes, most people who have never heard of a VA or don't know where to get started with a VA have delegation issues. I've discovered that. So, as I always say, do what only you can do and delegate the rest, but they're not sure what they should outsource. So I have a planner that I've put together that will help you navigate your day to see what you should really be doing and what items you could really be outsourcing to me.
Fantastic. Well, I have no doubt that, your success is, it's out there, and it's there today, right now. And just your energy and how you light up talking about this topic. And for folks that say, well, this is a podcast, how can you see her lighting up? We are on video, which you will never see, but you're going to hear our voices. And I want just watching Victoria talk about the work that she's doing and the impact she's having on others, I mean, it's there. So Victoria, thank you so much for spending part of your afternoon with us, and look forward to learning more about you and your work. If we can ever be of assistance to you, please let us know. And by all means, I think I actually I've got a client that I want to introduce you to. So it's a win-win today.
I love referrals, and when I run across people, I have no problem giving referrals. Even if I run across a person that needs a virtual assistant and I know I cannot do what they handle, I have many friends, and I will do a warm transfer to someone who can best serve you. I have no problem doing that.
Fantastic. And it's something we learn even in the coaching profession. We can't do it all, so it's a huge network, and we collaborate, and we find good people to collaborate with, and that's how we all succeed. So all boats rise when the tide comes in. That's my motto.
Yes, all boats rise. I love that.
So everybody, this has been the Success Insight podcast. We've been chatting again with Victoria Murray, owner of the InBox Virtual Assistants. We hope you will check her out at inboxva.com. And once again, for my co-host, Randy Ford, this is Howard Fox. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go out there and have a phenomenal day.
Success Insight is a production of Fox Coaching and First Story Strategies. Find us online, successinsightpodcast.com.